Um, Good evening, friends. This is Grumpy Old Ken, the movie number 20, which is in itself a milestone. I assume that you will notice the new me. I wasn't an anaesthetic job, although it was close, and I went for the sprucing up in the week. The chappy, marvellous man, was a little bit startled, but he didn't charge me what I'm told or read David Cameron pays. Evidently David Cameron pays £90 for a haircut. This is the difference between David Cameron and his cahoots and me. I paid £5 haircut, £2 for the shave, and we gave him a tip, which I think he thoroughly deserved. Let me talk a little bit tonight, being as if I've got this new look, about this sort of milestone. I remember the days when haircuts, they put a basin on your head. I never had it, but I was at school with kids that did. Literally a basin on your head. Did anybody remember anybody having that done to you yourselves, or was it just a sort of story? I had the offer when I was 16 to work in the barber's business full time. I helped John, a very, very good barber in the local village of Borrowash, for about 18 months after school for pocket money. And he was very good to me, but it didn't hold enough excitement for me in the long run, although I enjoyed the 18 months. I am left-handed, so have you ever seen a left-handed barber? It doesn't make life easy. The cables, etc., everything is geared for the right-handed person. They're on your right. So I used to be rather clumsy. I put a display on glass shelves through the shop window one day, stepping backwards. The noise was horrendous. The damage wasn't tiny, but John was very good about it. I tipped a glass of water off the radio into the back of the radio, wireless we used to call them, one afternoon, and the singer faded into the distance, and the radio never went for about a fortnight. Again, John was very good about it. I soaked a customer to bits one day by mixing the bowl and the apron thing around his neck. I mixed up looking at it and put the thing in water, the spray, in his lap. Only for a few seconds, but enough to wet him through. As again, John was very good about it. I was very young in those days, as I say, 16. I remember in the early days, a chap coming into the bit at the side where they paid. I took the money and I did shampoos. I never did progress to cutting hair, but I was generally useful. But a little fella came in one day, as you did in barbers those days, and he looked round and he said to me, have you got any French letters? Where's the French letters? And I sort of looked at him, and I hadn't come across this before, I hadn't been there very long. And of course he was referring to contraceptives. Me, in my ignorance, I was 16, opened the door into the main part where a queue of about 6 or 8 people sat, and I shouted across to John, "Where's the French letters?" And the little fella cringed and more or less got under the shelf where the offending French letters were. John had a word in my ear, and I didn't do it again, but the poor little man I felt very sorry for, and again John was very good about it. I enjoyed my time with in that sort of trade. I thought you might be interested in the sort of things off my shelf. You will come across them before, no doubt. Most people know what that is. A cutthroat. You have to have some sort of license nowadays, I'm told, and otherwise you can't use it. But a formidable object, certainly in my youth. Clippers. Do you remember the clippers? Um, those. Absolutely marvellous. Yeah, yeah. What else have we got? The little razors. Anybody still got the little razors? Yeah. Beautifully made. Today's throwaway society, not in the same league. Look at that for a Gillette. And even with the razor, the blades inside, look. Yeah? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Hmm? That's more for a going away on holiday rather than in the barbers themselves. What else have we got? Anything? Blades. Little brush. Little brush. Hmm? Look at that. Slide it in there. Yeah? Marvellous. Not sure about the date of this sort of thing. We got anything else? These are all off my shelf of my museum, and a lot of you have realised all stuff round about. We'll have a proper session, oops, I've got hiccups, one day with all this stuff, but I'm not ready yet. And that is, it's something to do with sharpening. I'm not sure again. One of you clever people, I've no doubt, possibly will recognise it and tell me. I'm not sure about that, exactly what happens, but it's definitely to do with, yeah, sharpening, yeah, all to do with just one subject, shaving. Marvellous, marvellous. Oh, that's rather nice. For the people going away, that is, I think, Bakelite. But we're going away in the next, well, tomorrow actually, for 2 or 3 days, and that's the sort of thing you would have taken years ago. My shaving days are over for the time being, but I will go again in the not too distant future. And that's about it for the moment. I looked up actually in the 1950s the cost of a haircut. I mean, looked at David Cameron and his 90 quid. In the 50s, certainly at some stage in the early stage, it was around about a shilling, which was 5p. You know, big difference. Don't forget, in those days you could get an absolutely wonderful suit for £3. Let's get it in proportion. I'm going to, after today, I'm trying still to put photos on here, and I want to maybe occasionally take it out of this room. I'm doing my best, honestly. Technically I'm struggling. Old man. But enjoying it. Anything else? Well, tell me if you've ever seen a left-handed barber. Tell me if you remember the Teddy Boys and their rather fancy haircuts and whatnot. I remember it well. Happy days. See you after I've had 2 or 3 days away. Thank you for listening.